The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to our webinar today. On behalf of HVAC Excellence, the BEST Center, Laney College, and the ACE Mentor Program, thank you for being here. Before we get started, we just want to go over a few of our housekeeping rules for the webinar today. We value everyone's time and know it's important, so what we are going to do is all of the attendees today will be muted throughout the presentation. You will have an opportunity to ask questions throughout the webinar by using the questions panel on your screen. You can go ahead and submit your questions in writing. As we complete the presentation today, if there's time for us to go over any of your questions, we will certainly try to get to them at the end of the presentation. My name is Renee Tomlinson from HVAC Excellence, and just to give you a little background, HVAC Excellence was established in 1994 to improve the technical competency of the HVACR industry through validation of the technical education process. We do that through student outcome assessment testing, professional development for HVACR educators and trainers, and programmatic accreditation for HVACR programs. We are in partnership with the BEST Center, and that's one of the reasons why we are hosting this webinar today. We feel it's very important to continue to provide resources for educators across the United States, across the world. So this is a really great program, and we hope you get a lot of good information out of it today. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Larry Chang. And just as a reminder as well, there are some handouts that go along with our presentation today. So please feel free to download some of the handouts available. And I'm sure that our presenters will be going over what some of those handouts are throughout our program. So, Larry?
Right. Thank you, Renee. And I'm going to ask you to advance us to the next slide. Good day, everyone. My name is Larry Chang. I'm manager of BEST Center, which is located here in Laney College in Oakland, California. I'm also an ACE Oakland mentor, and I'll be kind of filling in the details on these different activities as we go through our presentation. Just first, I want to do a brief overview of today's agenda. Renee, of course, has graciously welcomed us, and we want to thank HVAC Excellence and the ESCO Group for being longtime supporters of Laney College and the BEST Center. As we proceed, I will be doing an introduction of the presenters here today and giving an overview of BEST Center. And I'll hand the baton over then to Diana Eidenschink, who's the Interim Executive Director, and Andrew Frankel of ACE Mentor. They'll give you the national perspective. And then we will proceed to hear from our community colleges across the country about their activities with ACE Mentor and their local affiliates. Our goal for today is to really look at what the synergies are between this wonderful after-school program that ACE Mentor supports and what we have to offer in the community colleges to support our youth as they make their way up their individual career pathways. And the three community colleges are Kirkwood Community College in Iowa, Cuyahoga Community College in Cleveland, Laney College here in Oakland, and then we'll finish up with Q&A. Okay, next please. just quickly, to give you some background about Best Center, we are supported by the National Science Foundation's Advanced Technological Education Program, and that is targeted specifically for community colleges to act as centers of excellence and catalysts for educational change in their respective industries. And in our case, Best Center focuses on buildings and building operations and trying to make buildings more energy efficient and healthy for all of its occupants. You'll see our URL. Please go there to find more information about us. And our mission, as you can see there, is really to help educate the future technician workforce to go into our commercial buildings and make them work better. It's about as simple as that, but of course the devil's in the details. And to that end, we work very closely with community colleges to help them with their program development. We work very closely with industry to understand the various technical skills that need to be developed through our curriculum going forward to help support our ultimate mission. And then finally, I get to the third point, which is why we're all here today. We are trying to improve and strengthen the STEM pipeline for building technicians. And we can't do that until we work more closely with our high schools and help our youth to become more aware of the career opportunities. Next, please. I think fundamentally what we want to do is help our students to understand what are the occupations that are out there. What does it mean to be a building engineer or a building operator? And a large number of these occupations are kind of below the radar for most of our youngsters. You have some photos here that kind of just touch upon the various activities that building technicians perform. HVAC, short for heating, ventilation, air conditioning, that's an area that maybe more people are familiar with. We need techs to install and service equipment. However, going to larger buildings, we have building and stationary engineers, and they help maintain and monitor our larger heating and cooling equipment in mechanical rooms supporting commercial and large educational buildings, for example. And then finally, there's the building automation or controls technician, and that is definitely a career that needs more highlighting. Here, technicians use a combination of skills with electronic controls, IT networking, and understanding of mechanical and electrical systems to bring everything together into a quote-unquote smart building. You'll see links for 2 career videos. I encourage all of you to please look at those and use them in your classroom. There are short and long versions, and see what works best for your students. But that's a great place to start. All right, next, please. And of course, again, why are we here? Why do we need to reach high school students? Hopefully you'll take away many key points, but here are some that I definitely hope that you'll be able to use when messaging these professions to your students. First of all, our supply of building technicians is dwindling. Right? Our present employees are nearing retirement age, and we don't have enough new recruits. And that does not bode well for the future. So we need to start building the future workforce now. Many people are not aware that building operations provide excellent middle-skilled jobs. Right? They pay living wages, and it doesn't require a bachelor's degree. Now let's talk about stability. Right? Many building technician jobs, they're local. They can't be offshore. You have to be near the building that you're going to help maintain and optimize. And then also, demand is always excellent for operations and maintenance, even when new construction isn't. We're in a construction boom now, but it won't last forever. And then finally, right, and hopefully I'm preaching to the choir here, we want to plan ahead, right? And we want to make sure that our communities, our cities, and our planet, we want to make sure that they're all in good shape for future generations to come. And I'll just leave you with these 2 slides of activities that we've conducted here at Laney to help stimulate STEM interest among our high schoolers. One is our Physics for Building Science course. It's run during the summer. We've done that for the last 12 years. And then a more recent course has been Laney College's electric bike class. And students learn about electrical concepts by trying to electrify a bicycle using electric motors. All right, well, thank you. And then with that, I will turn the presentation over to our friends at ACE National, Diana and Andrew. Thank you.
What? Hello?
Diana,
Diana.
You there? Well, in lieu of Diana getting on the line, I guess I'll start. Thank you very much, Larry and Renee. We're very excited for this wonderful webinar. And really, later on in the webinar, after Diana and I speak, we're going to hear some great best practices from around the country, as Larry referenced, of ways that community colleges and ACE have been partnering together to get mutual benefit for both organizations. From the ACE perspective, we benefit from the array of resources that community colleges have in their position in the community. The students get exposure to any number of career paths, training programs that the community college has to offer. And the community college, of course, gets exposure to top talent students who we know are already interested in career paths within the architecture, construction, and engineering fields. So you could go to the next slide, Renee. So a brief history of the ACE program. ACE was founded 20 years ago. Is that you, Diana, you on the line?
Yeah, I'm sorry. A huge wind thing went through, and my entire internet and everything went off, so I apologize. I am back.
It's okay. Good timing. I was just getting to the brief history and overview of ACE, so.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else is having a huge windstorm, but we are. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to share with you some information about these wonderful organizations and the fact that we are working together. For those of you who do not know about the ACE Mentor Program, our mission is to enlighten and engage high school students to pursue careers in architecture, engineering, and construction through mentoring. And then a second part of the mission, so we are meeting with them in high school to identify the various career paths, but then when they are coming out of high school, to support their continued advancement through education to ultimately become part of our industry in the future. So we are educating and getting them excited and wanting them to pursue one of the career paths within the industry. The nice thing about the ACE Mentor Program is just what I said, is that it's the construction industry. So we are helping them understand everything that an architect would do, the different types of engineering, and then, of course, the large sea of construction, which can be anything from the trades through construction management and other career opportunities. Our main objective, while it is not our sole objective, is to identify underrepresented students that don't have the guidance or the support and may not have the opportunity to learn everything there is about the construction industry. Some quick statistics. ACE currently operates in about 64 affiliates over 40 states, including District of Columbia and Puerto Rico. We see about 8,000 students a year, and we are very, very lucky to have over 3,000 professional mentors who volunteer their time to meet with our students. Just about 70% of our students are minority, and about 1/3 are women. We, as an organization, have awarded over $14 million worth of scholarships to our students. And the scholarship dollars are for 4-year, 2-year, and even trade schools, because those students that want to select a career path that doesn't require a college education, we want to make sure that we're supporting their continued advancement into the industry. About 92% of our students do enroll in higher education. About 1% in the past have identified that they are taking a path into the trades or crafts. We have seen over the last year, 2 years, that we have, as an organization, taken our focus to include the trades more actively with many of our affiliates, creating Trades Day and other opportunities for the students to learn. So I believe that, and I know we will see that percentage increase as we go along. Overall, the national program, the national office, we give guidelines, but each program really has a unique flavor for whatever region they're in, whatever city they're in. So we're very excited today for you to hear from 3 different programs in 3 different parts of the country so that you can understand what happens on an affiliate level. And we would invite all of you that are on the call from the community college arena to make sure you reach out to your local affiliate. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Andrew.
Great, thanks, Diana. If you could go to the next slide, please. So I'll be very brief because I do want to make sure we have enough time for our speakers today. But basically, you know, again, we're looking at this as a way to connect students to the pipeline. You know, our area of expertise, of course, is mentoring them, getting them excited at the high school level. And so it's really crucial that we partner with organizations like BEST and other community colleges around the country to achieve that goal, to sort of hand the students off once we're done doing our part. There are many examples and many ways that we see community colleges engaging with ACE around the country. You're going to hear about 3 prime examples of kind of deeper relationships that community colleges have developed with local ACE programs. But, you know, sometimes it could be as simple as, you know, having a faculty member serve as a mentor like Larry does in Oakland. Even coming one time to one ACE session as a guest speaker to talk about, you know, the community college programs available to students in that community, and talk about, you know, what you do on a day in, day out basis. There are local board of directors for every local affiliate program, so joining a board is always an option. Each ACE affiliate typically designs, and in many cases, each ACE affiliate team designs its own curriculum. And so there's a lot of possibilities around supporting those efforts to design the curriculum and choose a project. And also, you know, current students at community colleges could serve as mentors or volunteer in another capacity. So those are just some examples of the ways to get involved. But really, you're going to hear some great examples after I talk now. The first up is Joe from Kirkwood Community College. So I'd like to just pass it on to Joe and hear about the STEM center that they've designed with an ACE team at Kirkwood.
Thank you, Andrew, and hello, everybody. This is Joe Greathouse. A little background on me. I teach at a community college here in eastern Iowa, the city of Cedar Rapids. College is called Kirkwood Community College. We serve 7 counties in the state of Iowa, which at the high school level encompasses about 27 different school districts, approximately 20,000 students in high school, so far smaller than some of our metro partners we have here in the call. A little further background, I've taught about 10 years at the high school level and now about 10 years at the community college level, so I definitely see both sides as the students are participating in high school and then obviously articulating onto post-secondary. What we view ourselves at Kirkwood is a catalyst for professional development for area high school teachers, as well as a group of people that can help develop curriculum for the 9 through 12 as well as the 13 and 14 years at the community college. So we spent the last about 6 years working with all the ACE teachers. So your Project Lead the Way, your traditional shop teachers, even some science, math and science and physics teachers will come in. We put together what we call the ACE program of study, and I know it gets to be a little confusing. It's the same 3 letters as a mentor program, but basically we're okay with that. We just want students to find ACE, whether it's through their coursework that they're taking in the high school, or as many of you do across the country have what we call concurrent enrollment or dual credit classes where they can get college credit at the same time. We have articulated the ACE program of study in eastern Iowa 9 through 14. So students that take classes in high school, again, get the preparatory curriculum that they need to move on. So through this partnership of working with the area teachers, we feel good about the curriculum side, but we knew we were missing a part of the total package. And that's where in 2014 we started the ACE Mentor affiliate here in eastern Iowa to reach out to the students above and beyond that typically take our classes. And we knew we wanted to do this with a big bang. So as you'll see here in the first few slides that I have for you here today, we are working on a STEM Center project from 2014 to 2015 year. And if I go to the next slide, I'll show you a picture. This is our first meeting. And again, this was in the fall. We had 154 students start our program, which from what I understand is a significant amount of students for our first year. And in that year, we also had 46 mentors. The idea was, again, to make these kids feel special, make them feel wanted, and show them that the industry certainly values them and wants to see them continue. So we held our kickoff. If any of you guys know the Iowa Hawkeyes from eastern Iowa here in Iowa City, we held the kickoff in the press box of that Kinnick Stadium there. So again, the kids felt great, gave them all t-shirts, and it was a good time. So if you go to the next slide, I'll show you some of the activities that we went through. And this is during the fall time. Actually, this next slide is the first meeting that we had. In the top right corner there, you can see students gathered around the table working with one of our mentors. And what we did was we gave them a real-life project because, again, we know we want these kids to feel like what they're doing counts. And so we presented to the mentors and we presented to Clear Creek Amana Middle School. So it's a small district or mid-sized district in our 7-county area here, and convinced them that they ought to let us being the mentors and the students, design and ultimately build them a 1,600 square foot STEM center for their middle school. And so it certainly was a leap of faith for them to have the confidence that we'd pull it off, and it was certainly a big responsibility for us to make sure we do that. So throughout the fall, as you can see in these pictures, we continue to have design meetings with the clients, with the mentors, with the students, certainly mostly on the architecture and engineering side, not a whole lot of construction at this point. If you go to the next slide, you'll see some sketches that these students had produced, and pretty basic, not a whole lot of detail to them, but again, we talked them through the process of what design means, working through a program, and then ultimately, if you go to the next slide, you'll see we got these students some experience working with CAD, in this case SketchUp, 3D modeling software, to take their sketches and make them as models. Now, this if we're looking at the timeline of the year, was done at our January meeting. So from this point, we broke the students up into 6 different groups. We had 6 different designs. And then in February, we took those designs to the school board of the school we were building for, and they decided which one they would build. Now, it's like picking your favorite kid. At that point, they couldn't pick one design, so what they asked us to do is take those 6 designs and merge them all together to come up with one. And luckily, one of our mentors was an architecture firm in town that was willing to take those responsibilities on, produce those construction documents, and get us on our way. So if we go to the next slide, you kind of see an outline of the progression. So at that spring semester, we finished the design work. We started working on an estimate for construction cost, built a schedule. And to be honest with you, at that time we were charting new waters in terms of what ACE Mentor National is comfortable with. Because in most scenarios, probably all scenarios, the level of hands-on liability was pretty insignificant at a national level. So here we're pushing the idea of kids actually swinging hammers and installing ductwork and all of that stuff. And ACE Mentor truthfully had a little bit of apprehension about that, and rightly so. So how we accomplished this was three-faceted. Kirkwood Community College continued to take a leadership role, and through the construction process of this STEM center, we provided a teacher on site every day, and the students that were on site swinging the hammer and actually building the building were enrolled in a Kirkwood Community College course. So again, we had the supervision from the teacher, we had the general liability for the students' coverage through Kirkwood, and then we had to hire a contractor of record, somebody to see the process through, help us pull the builder's risk and the other liability insurance policies for the actual building. And so we reached out to the Home Builders Association in our area, and they provided the means for us to accomplish those other 2 things. So then, as you see in the summer, we actually ran the course, and as part of the course, the students had to spend a minimum of 100 hours on the job site, and we staggered that through each phase of construction so they could see a little bit of everything. And then August 19th, we completed that project, and we had a community open house. So if you can go to the next few slides here, I'm going to show you some pictures of this progress. And again, throughout the process, we really wanted to highlight this, make the kids feel special, make sure the community understood what we were doing. If we go to the next slide then, this was a groundbreaking. The next slide will show you some of the construction process, getting some of our kids in action. And they did everything from being involved with the foundation, the framing, the MEPs, and all the way through finishes. So we go to the next slide. And here you guys will see a snippet of the final project here. And hopefully in that final project you can see some of the design features that those sketches were showing earlier. We documented the whole process on Facebook, and so community members and students and parents, everybody could see the progress, gave a little narrative at each stage, and then we had such good exposure both in our local, regional, and I even saw some national coverage of our project. So it reached all the corners of the United States. So with that, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have on the back end. There were a lot of logistical things that we had to go through certainly to get this building accomplished and to make sure we had all of our ducks in a row. So happy to answer any questions that you have. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ken.
Okay, thank you, Professor Joe. Hello, everyone. I'm Kenneth Hale. I serve as Director of Access and Community Engagement at Cuyahoga Community College in Cleveland, Ohio. We reference Cuyahoga Community College as Tri-C in our area. So I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to share and learn as well. Thank you to Diana, who reached out to me, and Renee, Larry, and Andrew, and everyone else for putting this together. So I agree with everyone that has been said already, that we need to develop the pipeline in the STEM fields and as Diana states, we're all working together. So when the ACE Mentor Program came to Cleveland, we had an opportunity to bring everyone in the architecture, construction, engineer field together to support this mission. And this presentation will show a glimpse of our work here in Cleveland, Ohio. See, next slide. So when I was called to ask to be a part of the presentation, I was asked to kind of showcase Cuyahoga Community College multi-layered involvement with ACE. So today I'll be sharing about our board level involvement, our ACE Advisory Council involvement, the matching scholarships feature that we offer here, the articulation agreements that we've established resulting in college credit for our students once they graduate from high school, and discuss briefly about us hosting an ACE program on our campus as well. Next slide. The mission of ACE was clearly communicated by Diana and Andrew, so I'll keep moving. So this is just a flow of how our board is set up here in Cleveland, our board of directors. I've had the pleasure of serving on the board since it arrived in Cleveland in 2008. And actually right before the board, I was a high school principal in Cleveland, and we've hosted the first ACE Mentor program. So I, just like Joe, I had the chance to see it at different levels, from the high school, foundation level, and the community college level as well. We have formed an advisory council here to engage more industry professionals in our important work, and really the crux of the work happens in the schools. And we can go to the next slide. So this is a presentation slide on how our schools are set up. Right now, we are actually in 8 schools now. This slide is a little dated because each year our goal is to add at least one new high school. We have lead mentor firms in each school, and they have an assortment of team members in there to make sure all the disciplines are covered. Next slide. In our school district, we're working with about 8 different schools. Our most recent school that we just added was outside of the Cleveland School District. It's an inner ring suburb, and so we're happy about going beyond the Cleveland borders. So all of our schools for our first 7 years were all Cleveland Metropolitan School District high schools. So this slide that you're looking at here is our attempt as a board to engage the broader community in the architecture, construction, engineer field. So several years ago, we launched the idea of forming an advisory council. So this is just a slide representing advisory council members. We meet on a quarterly basis. We want to be respectful of the professionals' time, but we ask them to come on board once a quarter to kind of listen, learn, and share, and offer resources that they might be able to offer to our ACE Mentor Program mission in Cleveland. And we really structured that ACE Advisory Council to be a win-win situation. So although we talk about the focus of ACE Mentor Program and what's happening in the classroom, we also ask everyone at the table how we at the table can help one another, support each other in whatever efforts that we're trying to do in the field as well. Next slide. So this slide is an extension of our advisory council work, but all these organizations that are listed have helped us in Cleveland put together some fascinating programming for our Cleveland Metropolitan School District ACE Mentor Program students. So it's a very long list, but it's a partial list, because each year we're very intentional about adding more, engaging more entities with our work. So this list here represents industry professionals, but also it represents school systems, K through 12 school systems, as well as higher education institutions and across the board. So organizations could have helped us raise money. We have an annual golf benefit. They could have helped us on our scholarship fundraisers. They could have helped us in the classroom as mentors and speakers to our students as well. Next slide. One of the main features here in the Cleveland, at the Cleveland ACE program, is the scholarships that we award our students. Since 2008, when we launched here in Cleveland, we've awarded nearly $450,000 in scholarship awards to high school students graduating from the ACE Mentor program here in Cleveland. This slide presents the main sponsors of our matching scholarship awards. So university hospitals, we credit them. They, in a significant way, helped us launch a great scholarship campaign several years ago. And they're committed in a large way here in Cleveland. The higher education institutions also said, we love the mission of ACE so much that we're going to be matching scholarships. So for every ACE Mentor Program scholarship, let's say, for example, if a high school graduate gets an ACE Mentor Program award of $2,500, one of the universities or our community college will match what has been given by ACE to support that young person in his degree pursuit. Next slide. This is just a snapshot of our finals presentation night. So here in Cleveland, on an annual basis, typically in early May, we convene all the ACE Mentor Program teams from the schools, and they actually have a presentation. It's like a playoff round at their school. They have their best team from their school compete at the ACE Super Bowl, the Cleveland Super Bowl. So this is just a snapshot in one of our annual events. We invite speakers to come out, and after each student group makes a presentation, a 10-minute presentation, we have a panel of experts. You'll see on the bottom right-hand corner, they give feedback to all the student presenters, and letting them know how their presentation went, providing some keen insight on how they may have improved their design, just giving feedback, but it's all welcoming and encouraging and educational, and so it's a large turnout. In fact, each year we keep growing, and we've actually outgrown our venue. We'll be looking for a new venue as well. Next slide. So this is just a snapshot of our young people in that year. This is probably from a couple years ago. But every year, we're saluting the young people, supporting their career aspirations, and engaging them at the next level. One of the things we started here in Cleveland is really helping to provide more support once the young people get into college. So we partner with one of our community partners, College Now of Greater Cleveland, and they have an I-mentoring program. And so we really try our best to track the young people. Once they graduate from high school, they are still in the ACE Mentor Program family, and so we are doing what we can to support their efforts to stay in college through degree completion, and then our goal is to hire them once they earn their degree and are ready to be employed. We want to bring them back home to Cleveland working in one of the ACE disciplines. Next slide. I referenced before the Articulation Agreement. This is one of our newest features here in Cleveland. We wanted to offer a new way to engage and incentivize the young people to come to our community college once they graduate from high school, and also to add value in what they're doing in the classroom after school in the ACE Mentor Program. So we've established a system for the students to actually earn college credit for completing 2 years of ACE in high school once they apply to Tri-C. So these are the essential elements. Must be a high school graduate, successfully completed the 2 years of the ACE Mentor Program of Cleveland, submitted a admission application to our college, and they have to do it no later than 12 months after they graduate from high school, and elect to enroll in our construction engineering technology program. And so the benefits are that students will have already earned college credit if they choose to come to our community college and major in this ACE field from their ACE Mentor Program participation. So for 1 year of ACE Mentor Program, they'll earn 3 college credits. So for the 2 years as 11th and 12th grader, they'll have an opportunity to earn 6 college credit hours. Next slide. So our community college, Professor Joe referenced earlier about in many cases high schools can earn college credit. So Cuyahoga Community College, we actually have a high school on our campus. It's called High Tech Academy. And so this past school year, High Tech Academy became one of our new ACE Mentor Program school sites. And that work is being led by a mentor firm called AECOM. They're doing a great job. This actually was one of the first meetings with AECOM and our High-Tech Academy students, who are also now ACE Mentor Program students. So they're outside in the middle of our courtyard with a drone demonstration. Next slide. And that's just an aerial photo of our pilot High-Tech Academy ACE Mentor Program students from the drone technology. Next slide. And so in closing, we look for intentional, creative ways to engage mentors and volunteers. So we invite professionals to join on our mentoring teams at the school, to serve as a guest speaker. Maybe they can just provide space to host a meeting. We have a scholarship committee meeting, and oftentimes we meet at different places, and that helps a great deal as well. Of course, we accept funds to support higher education pursuits, and also the co-op and internship. That's an area that we're really working on right now in Cleveland to create more internship and career exploration experiences, and in many cases paid with our ACE Mentor Program students, and there's other ways that young people can get involved here in the Cleveland community. One of our most invaluable contributions is from our school district, where actually our CEO, our superintendent of schools, is on our board of trustees, Mr. Eric Gordon. So he's a staunch supporter of ACE Mentor Program that has helped out in a great way. And we also have great leadership from our board president, Tom Laird of Gilbane Construction as well. So I thank everyone for listening, and we're looking forward to continue sharing and continuing the important work for young people. And I'll hand it over to our next speaker. I think that's Lorena and Tom.
Okay, Lorena, would you like to begin, or would you like me to start with the history of the ACE San Francisco regional group?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Scott. Go ahead and start with the history, since you've been involved since the beginning.
Since the beginning. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be located. My name is Tom Scott, and I've been involved with ACE for the last 16 years. And we've had a wonderful, vibrant situation for our students here as a delivery system, as was said by so many people, the pipeline, a catalyst for the STEM programs in all of our schools. And we have just recently, and most of you have probably done it too, we've changed the STEM acronym to STEAM. And I am so happy about this, because it's not only science, technology, engineering, and math, but now it's definitely with art and the arts. And it's so very important, and we are so proud to be a part of the program. We started, as I said, 16 years ago. The first year, I guess, was planning and MOU understandings and things like that. But we've worked with construction projects that were already underway. So it's not an original item, but we always work with for instance, the Caltrans Bay Bridge project for 14 years, every second semester of each year until it was started and completed. And we did the same with the airport terminal at the Oakland International Airport, Terminal 2, and then we did an addition to that with the help of our students being monitors and also being mentored by the men and women who are actually doing all the heavy lifting, from the architects and engineers, construction managers, and the tradesmen and tradeswomen who were involved in these projects. Next, we did the Fox Theater, which was a re-beautification or modernization of an earthquake-damaged, beautiful national monument, the Fox Theater in downtown Oakland. And our students were a part of the interior rebuild, and it was just marvelous. Then we did 2 hospitals, Highland Hospital, local to Oakland, and also the Kaiser Oakland Hospital, brand new buildings, and our students were a part of that during these years. Now you might say to yourself, whoa, how did you have so many projects? Well, we had 3 teams of groups of mentees from all the comprehensive high schools in Oakland, and we had in approximations, we started with 160, 150, and then we had broken them into 3 teams to follow each one of the projects I just mentioned. Now, as those projects were completed, our students were also involved in an extension of the BART, that's the Bay Area Rapid Transit System. They extended themselves from one station Hagenberger Road out to the Oakland International Airport, and it's above ground bridge. And that was a marvelous, marvelous, memorable learning item, as well as we said, all the ones that above. And we continue to work with landscape engineering with a redo of the Mosswood Park, which was a park that was in a very, very dilapidated state. And our students were a part of watching and mentoring or being mentored by the men and women who were putting that right back together in a beautiful, beautiful presentation for the local community. And our last item was with the BART folks. We actually redesigned one of the head houses. That's the entrance to one of the BART stations right downtown Oakland. And as that was being completed, our students were very much a part of doing everything that was involved with the construct and the design and construct and build. And we are so proud of that because the programs actually work with teams of students, 5, 6, or 7, with 1 or 2 mentors, and it just goes for the 2 hours once a week in the second semester only. That's all we're able to afford, and it's after school, so it's a free after school program. No one is charged. The benefits are, as mentioned by Joe and by Ken, are there's a huge amount of career guidance that our mentors are able to share with our students, and the exposure to all the disciplines that are involved with ACE is fantastic. And the delivery system, once again, as I said before, it's a pipeline from the high school to the post-secondary, which is the community college, and on. And then it was with the idea that the benefits continued from the career guidance into scholarships. We also offer scholarships, and usually in the past 15, 16 years, we've been able to deliver anywhere from 25 to 35 grants or scholarships to our students who complete our program. Again, because it's second semester, it's 15 to 18 Wednesdays for 2 hours each Wednesday. All the work that the youth do here are also enhancing their resume. What the beauty of this is that they are recognized not only for what they do with us at ACE and at the community college, but the city and state of California recognize our students for their active, proactive participation in the program, and it assists them in so many different ways to be so congratulated by some very, very important people that the benefits carry over from that resume into very, very important job benefits and career opportunities that will take place immediately after that second semester. We have an internship programs for many of our students that complete the program, and they go right into that internship and carry on into the following year. We take mature 10th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders, and the 12th graders are the ones who benefit from the scholarships. They will actually merit the scholarships, and the 10th graders and juniors will actually build their scholarship bank if they should return 3 years in a row. The other benefits that are really wonderful for our Oakland kids is that they better their skills. Every one of their skills, not only in a variety of skills such as drawing, writing, but verbal presentation and problem solving with the final design project that they will come up with. And what we did with the final design project was to mimic the actual places that I just mentioned, all those projects from the Bay Bridge, the brand new Oakland Bay Bridge and the airport terminal. What the students did was develop their own. They design and construct, that idea, their version of the Bay Bridge or the airport terminal or the Fox Theater. And it was just a marvelous experience for everybody. And I guess lastly, it's a major item that it benefits all the students so well to transition to the workplace, whether it's immediately with any of the trades, and some of the graduates will go directly into the trades, or going right to the college. So it's school to career, school to college, school to work. We are there for them, and we continue a relationship with them into their beginnings of their years on the job somewhere of their choice, and hopefully we help them make that choice. And that kind of summarizes the historical background for what we do in Oakland. And now, Lorena, would you like to add to that?
You did such a great job, Mr. Scott. The only thing I would probably maybe just add, just giving them an idea of our day-to-day program. You gave a great summary of all the different projects that we have shadowed in Oakland. Just to give an idea of how our daily schedule looks, our program in Oakland is about a 15-week program. We have mentors from all the different areas and trades come in and mentor our students. You mentioned that we usually have anywhere from 50 students for every team, and then every day we, after we have an hour's worth of a presentation, we then start working on a hands-on activity where they're learning. They're putting to the test what they just learned the hour previous, and now they're putting it into an activity that we give them where they're either using, popsicle sticks, or they're using hot glue guns, or they're using, pieces of paper, and then we have them budget that out. So even though these supplies seem like everyday things that we have in the classroom, we make it relatable to a construction site. We say, well, that paper, might be worth $1,000, so you have to decide if you want 5 pieces of paper or 10 popsicle sticks, things like that, and that just gives them an idea of how the budget plays into their designs. And so anyway, so we do this for about maybe 10 weeks, and then the last couple of weeks we actually have them work on their final project, which is what Mr. Scott told you a little bit about. The hospital projects. For the hospital projects, we had them design, I believe it was an emergency like health center in the event of a natural disaster. We had them design an emergency health center. And for the BART Oakland Airport Connector project, we had them design a Doolittle station. It would be an additional station that would be before they arrive at the airport. And so they got to design that. And so anyway, so that's what they do for the last 4 weeks of our 15-week program. And then the last day, we have them compete in groups. They present their projects to a panel of judges. The judges are anyone from city council members to the project managers on those actual projects. And they present and compete, and they have to present their budget, their schedule, their designs, their Google SketchUp, and then the panel of judges decides, who provided the best project within the budget parameters. They also have to provide.
Excuse me, Lorena?
Yes.
Yes, in the interest of time, because we do want to take a few questions, right? I'd like to just move to the next slide regarding the partnership between ACE Oakland and Laney. And yeah, and Renee, could you go back to that previous slide? Right. Well, this semester, in fact, just yesterday, we launched our first class here at Laney College to host the ACE Oakland team, and we had a very healthy turnout. But the goal here, of course, is to actually have the students come here consistently to Laney to listen to various guest speakers from our faculty, to see the labs, and to do hands-on activities here to give them a greater exposure for what community colleges have to offer. We do have a number of resources. For instance, we have a fab lab with 3D printers. We certainly hope that the schedule will allow us to integrate that into the set of activities. And the students will then also, I think, get better exposure about the possible career paths that are available in skilled trades. Here at Laney, besides carpentry, construction management, industrial maintenance, We also have programs in electricity and electronics and also environmental control technology. And that is another way of stating heating, ventilation, air conditioning, building automation, the things I spoke about at the outset of the webinar. And this semester, we're going to be focusing on the design of a tiny house. Laney has substantial expertise, having submitted an actual full-size tiny house to a regional competition earlier in the fall semester. And hopefully that will give the students social exposure to the housing crisis that many of our major cities are facing. And with that, we could just go to the next slide, and then you'll see just some of the activities that the Oakland teams have participated in. They learn to use SketchUp, they do site visits as described before, right? And then they also have events with other affiliates. I think we have close to 8 different affiliates right here in the Bay Area alone. And thanks, and with that, in the dwindling time we have left, we'd like to field some of your questions here. You'll see there's a contact page for the 3 organizations that are present for this webinar today. And Renee, among the questions you've gotten, could you share them with us?
I do not see that anyone has currently submitted any questions, so if anybody would like to do so, you are welcome to do so right now. Oh, I saw one come in. Let's see. Well, someone commented.
And while Renee,
yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
I was just going to say, while Renee is looking at the question, due to the limited time we have left, if you do have additional questions that you want to ask, what we can do is compile any questions. You can type them in now or shortly after the webinar is concluded. We'll compile them and send them to the appropriate speaker and make sure that we get you an answer that we'll share with everybody.
We're also going to have... Oop, I'm sorry, Andrew.
No,
there were a couple questions that came in real quick. One asking if there will be a video copy of this presentation available. Absolutely, we are recording the webinar today, and I believe all 3 organizations, the Best Center, HVAC Excellence, and the ACE Mentor Program, will be making these recordings available through their websites or other social media outlets. There is a question asking, is the Laney program available to school districts outside of OUSD?
We'd have to certainly work with each school district individually, but we do have a course that has been articulated between OUSD and Laney College. It's called Physics of Energy Science, and it was based on the Physics of Building Science course I described earlier. So yes, we're glad to start the conversation.
Great. And someone is asking if we can share the copy of the presentation itself. So if that is going to be, if the presentation or slides themselves will be made available, we'll probably post those along with the video as well. We'll take one last one because we are coming up on time here. There is a, oh, there's a bunch of them coming in now. Some of these questions we may have to get back to you because we do want to end promptly at the hour because we are you know, we want to be respectful of everyone's time. So all of the contact information for the Best Center, for the ACE Mentor Program, or for HVAC Excellence are all listed on your screen right now. If you want to contact...
Renee, if I could...
Oh, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, sure. If I could just point out, there are 3 handouts that are downloadable, and one of them is that middle one, connect to a community college or ACE program in your area, and you'll see a sample list of best colleges. These are colleges that participate with Best Center that are also in cities where there are ACE affiliates. Right? And that'll at least help us to begin to see where the connections can be made. And I'll put this question to Andrew and Diana. Okay, say someone's ready to get the ball rolling. What should they do? How should they contact ACE?
Best thing to do is look at that document you just referenced, Larry, and if you go down to the sort of the bottom of that, you'll see ACE Mentor Program Regional Director Contact Info. Depending on what region of the country you're in, you'll see the regional director, which I am one. Diana is sort of transitioning from her role as the Northeast Regional Director, but our email addresses are there, so feel free to reach out to us, and we will do whatever we can to help get you connected to a community college or an ACE program in your region and get the ball rolling there.
Sure. Now, I do have one question in there asking where the handouts are. On your GoToMeeting panel, the one where you're seeing attendees or things like that, there should be a section that says handouts, and there should be 3 PDF files that you should be able to download. So you should have a panel for the GoToMeeting platform, and hopefully you should be able to access those downloadable documents, the 3 PDFs, right off that panel. And we're now after the 2 o'clock hour, so anybody who had questions, we will go ahead and disseminate those questions amongst the group here so that the appropriate person can follow up with you and answer your questions. It may take a day or so for somebody to get back to you on it, but we will go ahead and follow up with you on your questions. We thank you everyone for joining us today. We appreciate your time and the opportunity to present to you today. Once again, please feel free to reach out to any of us here with any questions that you may have. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
You
to
too.
everyone.
You
did a great year.
Best wishes.
Okay.